Alright guys, December update. Sorry this video is a bit late. I did record another one. To be honest, I've done this almost twice. I've recorded another video last week and then decided I didn't really like it that much. There wasn't quite that much content, really, considering I just needed to do a little bit more work and be able to show you far more. So I decided I'd redo it, so that's what we're going to do now. And what else was I going to say there? Right at the start of the month I was going to do a video as well, and I just couldn't be bothered basically. Yeah, I just kept doing more and more work, but like little bits at a time. Been quite busy, but obviously the benefit with the car now being home is I can just pop out to the garage when I'm home from work, and just do like a couple of hours, then crack on, do other jobs, do a couple of hours, crack on, do other jobs, you know. So that's quite good. So welding is done. Welding's done on this side of the car. I did actually have the kick plate and the finishing strip on earlier, but I've just taken them back off to do another job, and I thought I could then do this video and show you everything, which is quite useful. So where are we up to? Where to start? So I can't remember what I did in the video I don't like, and how far I'd got. I think last time I spoke to you guys, I think I was cutting everything out. So where have we got to? So first of all, I've just hoovered in here because there was quite a lot of rubbish in here, even though we have been bagged up, and a load all underneath the seats. You can see that one back section I haven't yet got to, just absolutely full of dirt. And put the torch over here and focus. Yeah, you see all this sort of dusty rustiness. This was slowly making its way into the car. Obviously, when cutting these sills up, they could get in a lot easier. And obviously, you know, had the grinder in there, the airline in there, so we're really throwing it about. But this shows a good example of what I was on about and why I've had to do this. So to solve this, because I didn't want to replace the, I didn't want to replace this piece. So this piece is still obviously standard. I didn't want to do this because that came with a whole floor section that we don't have, and then we were cutting out even more reference points. So to solve that, what I did, if you look in here, you'll see traces of blue everywhere. I'll explain that in a minute. I've just welded a right angle section, like a 90 section, 2mm, to this backside down to this floor, just sealing it all up, and then obviously gone along, seam sealed it all. It's mostly just tacked in really, because it's not actually there for any structure, it's not needed, but just to seal it all up. I mean, I know it's overkill, but when you can't get to many pieces like at that end and under this end, it was easier just to do that. So then obviously painted black, seam sealed, painted black again, and the blue is where I've added pieces underneath, which I'll show you in a minute. You could see some bits of that metal. So the other day before I welded these and these, I just blasted loads of blue paint at both sides, just to try and fill anywhere I'd missed, because obviously the more metal we started adding, like when we added this back in, it was then really hard to get up and paint anything in here. Obviously I added paint before welding this in, but then I've welded this and the plates underneath, which have then added heat, trash in paint, blah blah blah, more fresh metal, paint in there, problem solved in a nutshell. So obviously, yeah, so we got this in. He's spot welded through this side all along, so he's in. We noticed that this panel to this didn't line up very nicely. This is meant to sit along the one edge, it just wouldn't seem to, and I'm really hoping it's not because this is, you know, 200mm too far out, which it could be now I'm thinking about it, but it can't be, because we have reference points here, here, and all of this panel's a reference point, and the back edge is a reference point, so they were all in the right places, and obviously the kick plate fits on nicely, so they should be in the right places. I did ask on the One Owners Club forum and sort of got the response that you can sometimes just get crappy remake panels, and they're not very good, and they've got bends and stuff and they don't line up. I've just had the problem that this panel, I mean, this is a good example. When I put this panel back on, me this one-handed. When he's lined up at the one end, he then floats away. But he wasn't like that originally. When we started putting all this together, we were using that with the kit plate as a reference. So I think he's bowed out here in the garage in the cold, which isn't a great sign for these panels, but whatever. So there was a little bit of a gap. It wasn't much. So what I did is I had the offcuts. I bought some sheets of steel. I can't remember how big they were now. 2 foot by 2 foot, and got them cut down at Ali Sport to sections. I had one sheet done 200 by 70 and the other sheet done by 100 by 70, just to have a big stock of plates on, but to show you those underneath, and obviously use them up here and up here, just so I had little pieces, because I hate getting a sheet of steel and then standing there with the grinder on, you know, the nice flats, you know, when you got the straight angles going around it, cut a nice shape out, so you know you got 2 straight edges, and then obviously the rest of the sheet then you're just slowly nibbling bits off, and it's just long, it's messy, and I don't like doing it. So I thought I'll have them all cut up to smaller pieces and that'd be perfect. But I had these like offcuts that were just sort of, they were about 200 long by about, I don't know, 30 mil, but they were perfect to sit in here and fill all this top up. So obviously he's all seamed in. These pieces, obviously just cut them out, cardboard remake. The torch really shows where I welded, but they are pretty smooth. So let's have a little peek underneath. It's all painted black, so it's a bit harder to see now. I'll lie down. So pop the torch up and then just stand them up. It's weird, eh? What I can see well with my eyes, you can't see it all on the cameras. So see, like here to here, that's one of those like 200 mil plates. So what I've done is welded to this and then folded it up to then join to this, instead of buying the next panel section, because it you know, it's never going to fit to this. So we had to draw the line somewhere. And this, it was only you're only trying to close a gap of, at max in places, 30 mil. So it wasn't drastic. And then yeah, let's see. You can see where the panel is. You can see a little, yeah. And again, painted, seam sealed. Hence why it looks a bit of a mess. That seam sealing, I'm not very. Just whack it on with a brush. Get it all sealed. But the main thing is, it looks nice. When you look down it, it doesn't look too much of a mess. I've got to fix this. I've had to eat into the filler. You can see there how thick the filler was for no real reason. I mean, you can see it up here where I've not ever bothered sanding it down properly, but we'll sort this. I was tempted to chop this off and re-weld it back on, but obviously this panel was being a really big reference for this piece, so I just couldn't do that. And I got a little bit of a sticker on it, and I didn't want to have to deal with that. So I've just done some horrible tacks to some horrible metal. It's all clean, just gonna grind it down a bit more and well, chuck a little filler on it. Yeah. And then the back edge he filled quite nicely as well. Down here, it's hard to tell where I actually welded, because I just painted anything and added seam sealer. Yeah, I think that came out all right, as well as it could, really, when you really haven't got much actual Morris minor to work with. And when you look down it from the length, it looks quite nice. It doesn't look like, you know, a patchwork quilt of using about 6 or 7 200 mil pieces. So I have now I've cleaned up this. Oh, my hand's over the front camera. Cleaned up this. I'm gonna put a little bit of rust converter on it, get that going off while I take the seat out and start getting ready to put some sound deadening in. So I bought some of this Dodo mat. It seems really good so far. I did a little bit last night. I'm just basically any piece of metal that you can't see, I'm going to try and get some matting on it. So I did the underside of the kick plate, and it's on there well. Obviously heat roller it on. I'm really pleased with it actually. Obviously it peels off and it's already quite tacky, which I quite like, so it's kind of stuck on. Then started warming it up, rolling it on. I mean, it adds a little bit of weight to everything, but hopefully it will I can start to cure some of the resonance in the car. Obviously I still want this to be primarily a race car, but I also want to be able to drive it on the streets kind of comfortably. I know I'm never going to get the car comfortably quiet inside, and I don't want to. I feel like the main enjoyment in driving one of these is listening to them. You know, they sound awesome, but it'd be nice just to take some of the reverberation out, because to be honest, that's the bit that actually like hurts your ears. I mean, mind you, in 5 years' time, I'm out of this conversation and I'll be deaf and not be able to. And I have a very different point of view. But yeah. So yeah, seat's gonna come out. Gonna get some matting, probably in this panel, on that panel floor, and back one. I'd like to do anywhere you can't see. Both basically probably from there down on both sides. And the same along the back wall. I really like, you know, this sort of pattern here, so I'm not going to cover that, but anything lower than this tunnel I'm thinking of matting. Same on those. I'm not going to do those sides either, because again they look nice. I am going to do door cards. I'll do inside the doors as well, but yeah, I guess the big difference is if this was a road car with a full interior, you know, you could mat everything, and then obviously then when you put an interior back over it all, it's then, you know, you can't then see it. But I don't want to do that. So some of it will go on the other side of all this panel work, you know, under the car. To be honest, a lot of my road noise is that big back panel. It's not even the exhaust. The exhaust do reverberate through these floors, and we'll try and cure that as much as I can, but I'm not really sure 100% how. I'm going to do all of the inside of this tunnel. The green tape's going to come off today. I'll get ready to weld my flappy bit of metal in, so that'll look a bit more permanent, just where that where I made a mistake with the hose. I think I've talked about that before, where told the guy making the pipe work, oh yeah, everything, this panel is all on the outside of my last chassis rail, but it wasn't. It all tilts in. But live and learn. But yeah, lots to do, and obviously off today and over Christmas, so hopefully we'll be able to get a fair bit done, or make a good start on it. That's the goal. And yeah, I'm trying to think of anything else I got to do. Don't know. But yeah, so I'll try and do an update at some point in January. Hopefully we'll have a load of Dynamat in, well, not Dynamat, and probably almost be at a point that I'm looking at getting to the other side of the car, or I'll push the car out and we'll start doing the stuff I want to do on the front. That's the plan anyway. Right, cool. Have a great Christmas and New Year, and take it easy.